Angie Martinez in Real Life podcast. You know what I mean? Killer Mike on the podcast today. How are you, love?
I'm well, love. How you doing?
I'm good.
You know, you can just call me Michael too.
I know, but I have to start the.
I know.
I'm not gonna throughout call you Killer Mike throughout all the time. Who calls you Killer Mike? Just people who don't know you.
Just random people. Killer. You know what I mean?
Call you Killer.
You know. Yeah, but most people just call me Michael back home.
Michael back home.
My dad's Michael, and my dad is Mike. My daughter is Mikey. I have a son named Michael, so I got stuck with Michael.
Oh, Michael. So I know you on a few different levels. I know Killer Mike, artist level. I know you as activist, a creator, artist. But what is your everyday real life like?
My everyday real life?
Yeah, like what is the everyday real life?
My everyday real life is I'm an MC. That's all I wanted to be, and I live as free as I want to be. That's all I ever want. That little 9-year-old kid that's on the cover of the album, all he wanted to be.
It's a great picture, by the way.
Yeah, thank you. This little buck teeth kid with the horns and the halo. But I'm a father to some children. I'm a husband to a wife. I'm a businessman in my community. I try my best to do what my grandparents said, and be a leader and be responsible in that community. But on a daily basis, I'm doing the same thing other dads are doing, getting pissed off that my daughters are growing up and growing boobs and shit. And
boobs?
Trying to help
How dare they?
Trying to help my sons not get so enticed by boobs they make babies early like I did, So just typical black dad shit, working class black dad shit.
But let's go back for a minute, because tell me about like young Michael. I know you have a little bit of complicated.
It's not complex to us. It's just our family. My great grandparents. My grandmother's parents were Tuskegee Alabamians, short of Macon County. They worked and sharecropped their ass off to get their own piece of land. That farm is still in our family to this day. And I say that because they're not just some abstract people I heard about. You got sent to the country when I was a kid. Like you got sent there in the summers, all of a sudden you're on 40 acres of farm. Like shit, ain't no pumas and breakdancing going on down here. So you had to learn shit like killing and cooking your own food, picking shit, And I'm thankful for that as I got older, because I understand all this is luxury, and I appreciate it. My grandparents raised me though. Betty Cluntz and Willie Sherwood, they raised me, because my mom was 16 when she had me. My dad.
Wow, the age that you were.
Yeah. And my dad was only 19. He later went on to become a police officer for an amount of time in APD. Then he went to the fire department, ended up in Atlanta Gas and Light. My mother, so Flores by nature, serial entrepreneur, just kind of artsy, bohemian. And she ended up for a short time being a successful drug trafficker. They were never, we woke up, I think.
The way you talk about her in the positive spin.
Well, it is. It's positive.
It's positive. Yeah. She was a successful drug trafficker, but another person could have a different perspective on the same scenario.
That's their perspective on that
scenario. Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, my mommy
you choose to present it in such a positive.
Well, I choose to present it honestly as my life was, Angie. My mommy was my hero. And at the time, if you look at, this is 1989, 90, when she was caught.
And how old?
I was 14.
No,
I think it was
how
about
old
14.
was she?
She was, if I was 15, Denise was 31.
31. Mm-hmm.
Yep, she's 31 years old. And the news pops up, woman arrested in Griffin, Georgia, attempted about 10 kilos of cocaine. And I remember my grandmother, again, my grandmother's a devout Christian. I'd never seen my grandmother go to any African spirituality or anything that was prior to Christianity until her daughter got locked up. And I remember driving to this house, and I remember my grandma coming out with a bag and candles, and it was like 2 chickens running around with their heads were cut off. And I'm just like, well, they're not gonna eat these chickens, so this is some other shit. This is for something else. Like,
so she temporarily switched religions.
Yeah, well, she just went back to what we are.
The roots, right?
You know what I mean? I was like, oh, so we believe in Jesus, but when your baby get locked up, we might have to holler at some Orishas too. You know what I mean? But my mom came home in 2 weeks. The guy, man, Ralph, God bless him, he took the whole charge, and he told.
Could have been the chickens.
Yeah, could have been, but. He's to this day, he still has a picture of my mom up in his house. He's an amazing. He says, your mom was the most fearless woman I ever met. But I remember when she got out, I was talking to her about it. And
How long was she in? It was quick.
No, it was 2 weeks. They held her 2. He convinced them that it was all on him. When they got pulled over, she said, He told me rather. He said he told the police, take the money and just let us go. And the police got a little nervous, so he called someone else to hear it. So if he made the move, but when they got there, when the second guy came, my mom and her guy just shut the fuck up. They just wouldn't talk. And my mom, I remember her asking, I was like, y'all got caught. I was like, Ralph took the charge. That was beautiful. He let you call on these kids. He said, yeah, them crackers still had the fucking money. We didn't go down there about 10. We went down there about 20.
Wow.
And I was like, God damn. Like,
Wow.
so they kept enough to convict him, and they kept the other half of the money. And that's when I understood ain't no good guys and bad guys. You know, it's just opportunities and opportunistic people. So when people think of the crack era, I encourage people whose parents were addicts, because my mother later suffered an addiction. I tell people, be more forgiving, because no one understood what was going on. They were just coming out of disco. They was partying, go to disco. People do a little coke shit. Next thing you know, people are freebasing. Freebasing was a little fancier thing. And next thing you know, the stems came. And when that crack hit the streets, it was no one understood how bad. For whatever reason, white folks can do cocaine and still make it work on Mondays. You know, I don't know what the fuck, but black people, it just cocaine and us, it did not go well.
But crack and cocaine is two different.
It's not two different things. Cocaine is the base of making crack.
I know, but I feel like the addiction of crack, it just grabs wholly different.
Hard. But coke's still not good. Black people still don't function well on coke. Look at the music industry.
Yeah.
All the motherfuckers who had it, now they just fucked up all their money.
There's a lot of functioning cokeheads though in the music business.
I've seen a lot more of them non-functional. I've seen the guys at top.
True.
Yeah, but all the middlemen.
You couldn't see no functioning crackheads.
Yeah. Well, I've seen a couple, but most of them functioning at car washes. Crackhead lives forever too now. I don't know what they put in crack, but crack relationships and the crackheads that stand in front of some of my businesses, they just be there like, bro, you been here since I was 12. I'm still gonna be here, Mike.
Oh my God.
But all jokes aside, I'm glad that blight is something that has kind of cleared from our community.
How did that affect you though? How did her addiction change you? Yeah.
You know, all heroes have a weakness, you know, and what I had to understand is that many people who become addicts are not even seeking the fun as much as they're deeply sensitive people that are trying to numb the sensitivity and pain. My mother was deeply, she was an artist. She's deeply sensitive. And she didn't operate in this world. She was diagnosed with, she attempted to commit suicide in front of me when I was 19. Her and my sister were arguing. She split both her wrists wide open.
In front of you, or you walked in?
In front of me.
You walked in.
She was walking down the hallway and y'all don't appreciate me? I'm about to go. And we like, oh shit. I had never heard her sing her spiritual to that day. I didn't think she believed in Jesus. I was like, oh my fucking God, Denise. But my grandmother, I can remember coming down, because at that time in Georgia, if you did that, they would commit you for a number of weeks to observe you and stuff. And so she's there, and there's this classic picture of my mom with both her wrists wrapped and just leaning on my grandmother. Grandmother's smiling. She's so happy. And I'm just like, what the fuck? Are you happy my mom's in an insane asylum? It was because she knew where her baby was. And her baby was her baby again. My mom didn't have any say of her whole life. My grandmother was the only person who could sign her in and out. And she was like, Mom, I'm sorry. I just made a mistake. I was just hurt at the time. And my grandma was like, nope, you're going to be in here 2 weeks, baby. We're going to make sure the doctors tell me you can go, because my grandma was a nurse by trade. So it was just hilarious to see my mother have to be someone's daughter again. But she learned, but she understood how much that hurt us. She never attempted anything like that again. But it helped me understand.
Did you have to do healing though?
Well, my mom, she had to do therapy. She had to join Narcotics Anonymous, shit like that.
What about you though?
Who, me? I prayed and went my ass back to Morehouse, went back to school. You know, I didn't understand. Trauma, bad shit just happens. Like my grandparents raised. They were born in 1922, 1932. My grandmother, born in 1932, grows up, you know, sharecropping, getting an education because her mother believes vehemently in it. My grandfather's father left when he was second, third grade, worked in a lumber yard, you know, a sawmill to feed his two sisters. So there wasn't a lot of room for, oh, what's wrong? How can we fix it? There was, life is not fair. Bad things are going to happen. It is your job to endure those bad things, to find silver lining in those, and to push forward to take care of yourself, take care of your sisters, take care of your family and community. It wasn't that the problem was unacknowledged or ignored. It was just that, why is there an expectation for life not to be hard? My grandparents never gave me the expectation. I remember saying to my grandfather's life, this ain't fair. Life ain't fair.
There's no, I get that, but you're 19 years old. That's you laugh now and there's you find beauty in it in terms of the
No, we
relationship.
laughed 2 weeks in.
Really?
Yeah, hell yeah, we laughed. You done goddamn cut your damn wrist, you done got your fool self in here, and now bed it back over
But
your
no
life.
fear that it would happen again.
Comedy cures.
Really?
Yeah, if it happens again, how could I fix it? If she was determined to do it, how could all you could do?
Anger? No anger? As a child that your mother would do that in front of you? No anger towards her?
No anger. She was I loved her. What I was angry when I was angry one time my mother when was I angry? I was angry when she found out she dated a guy that I looked up to. I thought he was a dope boy. He was a cool dude. He was a dope man. So he's older. He's a cool dude. Mm-hmm. I didn't like the fact my mom dated him. That made me mad.
That made you more mad. Made me more. Because
I knew because
I'm just trying to understand the makeup. And I get it if your grandparents taught you as a young child that.
Well, you gotta understand, they're my parents. She's like a big sister.
Right. So if they taught you that shit's hard, so
no, not that shit's hard. Shit is going to be hard the rest of your life.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not that shit's hard. It's you have no control over anything but yourself.
So when something hard does happen.
Yeah.
At 19 or at 16.
My cousin died yesterday. I was tempted not to come here today.
Today? I'm so sorry.
She died. Yeah, I appreciate you.
I'm so sorry.
But I'm here because the same cousin that died, she was hit by a bus as a teenager and lost the use of her right arm. In desperation of trying to get the nerves back, she put boiling hot water on her arm, trying to just resurrect the nerve function because my fucking schizophrenic uncle told her that might be the right thing to do. She made that mistake. But once she accepted that this is my life from now on, she was still my big cousin who babysat me, but she was my big cousin that introduced me to the DeBarges, had me listen to the Jackson catalog, listen to the Beastie Boys with me and Run DMC. She taught herself how to write and draw with her left hand, so I was sitting there next to her. She was teaching me how to draw. What would my cousin would have wanted me to do? Now, I didn't want to get on the plane because I felt like I'm abandoning her 88-year-old mom. I felt like I'm abandoning my two sisters. For 2 of my 5 sisters, I felt like I'm abandoning her sisters who are my big cousins. I mean, one of them is even my godmother. I felt like I was abandoning my family. But with that said, what would my cousin have wanted me to do? Teresa would want me to be here. She wanted me to say, rest in peace, Teresa Miller. I just saw my cousin on Thanksgiving, just prayed with her with my other cousin. So life is, and I've talked to her mother this morning on the way here. I talked to her sisters, and they said, well, Mike, we're just glad our sister's not suffering anymore. And her mother says, well, I hate to have this is my 3rd funeral. She's buried her son, she's buried her husband, and now she's burying one of her daughters. And my family it's not that pain doesn't come, not that it doesn't happen. It's just that you understand that it is a part of life. And to not to try to sound too stoic about it, but what can I do? You know, what can I do?
I don't know that I've ever sat across from somebody who's more stoic about it. Yeah. Like, you are managing all of that. Yeah. Unbelievably.
You got to. You just pray. Like my grandma say, you pray. Or what the old folks call prayer is really meditate. You sit, you go through the feelings, you spend your first.
I wondered that, like, because if you are that strong about it and you do anticipate, because we all, by the way, this whole podcast, my first episode, before I changed the name to In Real Life, it was really called We're All Gonna Die. That was the name. That was the name of the podcast. Because the reality of that then gives you a freedom to live your life differently when you realize our time is limited here. That really was the thought of it.
Yeah,
so I somewhat get your just the way you maneuver through life and through these traumas, because they are traumas, whether you hold them as traumas or not. It is
traumatic things that have happened.
Traumatic.
The reason I can't say traumas because people like to carry that around like a Louis bag these days. Yeah, I was a chubby kid in school. I've been called fat all my life. The fuck? Some people, it's such a trauma. Trauma your ass to the track then. You know what I mean? Like, what can I fucking do? Like,
yes, I get that.
I
get that.
There are terrible things that happen.
Every day.
And if God gives me an opportunity to wake up tomorrow, I'm going to try my best to, even through the terribleness, make that the best day.
Do you give yourself, is that immediately? The fact that you just lost your cousin and you're immediately here the next day? Yeah. Or the fact that you're laughing after an incident like that with your mom 2 weeks later? Do you give yourself a I don't
know. I don't know if I properly grieved. You know what I mean? I know until I wrote motherless, or I sat and said my mom was dead. My grandmama said I had never uttered those words, and I cried, for days. So I think that like in the song "Shed Tears" I have with Mozzie, I think men, especially in the South, I don't know, how men act outside the South. I haven't spent enough time, but in the South, black, white, culturally, as a man, you're expected to this moment. My grandfather dies 20 years ago. My youngest sister is graduating Dillard University. He didn't die until she graduated. That's significant because when he had a heart attack in '87, he stopped smoking cigarettes that day and that immediately stopped drinking beer. He would only drink corn whiskey every now and then, but he told my sister, stop crying, don't worry. I ain't gonna doubt all y'all out of school. He literally died. My sister had graduated, Dillard, and I'm crying. I'm fucking crying. I'm a crier in the family. I'm the crier.
Really?
Yeah, I'm the crier.
I would have never thought that based on this.
No, I'm the crier. I cry. You know, I'm just not gonna. I ain't gonna cry for days. I'm gonna only get it out. My sister walks up to me, LaShonda, and she holds her hand on my back and rubs it. She said, "Well, get it all out today, because tomorrow you're the leader of this family." Oof. And 20 years ago, I didn't know how to fuck. I couldn't lead myself out of this room. You know what I mean? I got a record deal. I'm running around a party. I'm having fun. I don't know how to lead a family, and I've spent the last 20 years stepping up to that leadership and understanding it's not about me saving everybody and doing everything. It's about me being a leader on this team of people that are confidently trying to raise children to be confident and competent so that our family name may grow and we may not embarrass ourselves or embarrass our parents or embarrass our family's name.
Wow. I always had this. I grew up with a lot of women, not a lot of men. I had my great grandfather was alive. He lived to 105. But my great grandfather, great grandfather, only two men that I had in my life, much older. Yeah. And I always had like a sympathy for men. And maybe sympathy is like, I don't know if you find that like a condescending word or something. Sympathy. But I had always a sympathy for men because I would see them. Both of them were in wars. My great grandfather came here from Cuba in a damn little boat, and I always had a sympathy for how much you have to hold or what's expected of you to hold. And I don't know. I just always, especially older men. If you think about the generations even before us, because you even could say, you comfortably sitting here and saying, I cried. Yeah. Would your father or your grandfather maybe have that freedom or that comfort to be able to say that? I don't know.
But my two dads, and I say my two dads, I have a bio and a non-bio dad, were both huggers and kissers and lovers.
Oh, so you had a different experience than what I'm talking about. Yeah.
So, but they are going to hug and kiss you, but you get firm advice on the front or back end. So it was still, you're a man. You know what I mean? You're a man, and you're expected. Now, I love you, but you are expected to get that grass cut. Or you're going to be cutting grass in the dark if you don't do it in the daylight. I love you, but if you make a child, then I'm not going to be the doting grandfather that takes up your slack. You're going to work and take care of these children. So there was a kindness and a tenderness to all the men. I had a lot of men in my family. I had uncles.
But was there an emotional, were y'all allowed to be emotionally?
You weren't going to out emotion the women. That was frowned upon. Yeah. That was frowned upon by the women. Yeah. But you were.
That's true. We do that.
Yeah, but
that's part of the.
Yeah, you could get it out.
Part of the position we put you in.
Yeah, my family, you get one good get it out. Go ahead and get the crowd, and then you have to take care of these women and children. So whatever you need to get out, just get it out. And that's what my song "Shed Tears" is about: going in the bathroom as men sometimes. And sometimes you just got to go in the bathroom, look in the mirror, man, and get the crowd. Because on the other side of that door is your responsibility, the people you're accountable for, the people you're accountable to.
Is that enough to be healtly?
I don't know if it's enough. I know.
Moneybag Yo talked about that on our episode too, because he had a lot of loss recently. Yeah. And he talks about being in a meeting and walking, being like, I'll be right back, going to the bathroom, getting the cry out, and then coming back. So I'm assuming that is way more common than we know, especially of our generation of men.
No, I think it goes back further. I think this has been a coping mechanism longer. But you're a man. Fuck I'm gonna do, sit here and have a crying contest with my woman all day? Somebody got to get up. She got to get up and tend to these children. She got to still make sure that dinner's gonna hit her. She still got to make sure the finance and everything managing the house. I can't manage to get my ass up and get to work. I got to get to work. My cousin gone. What they saying about the dead bury the dead. You know what I mean? That's just, she's gone. There's nothing I can do about it, but she lives on through me, through her nieces, her nephews. I'm going to go to the funeral. I'm going to shed some tears remembering my cousin, but I'm still got to be there for her mother. I still got to be there for my auntie. I still got to be there for my sister. So don't waste your time crying. Just cry, get it out, let it be effective, breathe, meditate on it, pray, but you got to get back to living while you're alive. You got to make sure that the children under you, the woman or women next to you, however my brother's rolling, you got to make sure that you're a cornerstone for them. You know,
I
that's
get
all.
that. Death is really hard. I think it's one of the hardest things, and it's guaranteed.
Yeah, you know
Every
what's at the
single
end of
one
the
of
movie.
us. We know how this ends for every single person in the room, for all of us, and yet I don't think we've figured out how to emotionally, or maybe we're not supposed to. Maybe it is supposed to hurt us and be painful.
My grandmother mourned her mother to the day she died. My grandmother died in my arms at 79 years old, walking up a hill. And to the day she died, she would say, I miss my mama.
Did she actually say that?
I miss my mama. My grandmother would go into her bathroom sometimes and you just hear her wailing. She'd pray like you just, put yourself in the closet to pray you get away from people. Because she genuinely missed her mother. She just genuinely missed her. My mama and my mommy, Denise, had one of the biggest arguments ever after my grandmother died. And she told me something. Hit me so hard. We're in a limousine. So I had my mom, my autistic uncle, me, and my autistic uncle, who thinks he's like my big uncle still. And he's trying to call, he'll call me 4 times a day. I'm checking on you. Don't you let nobody use you. Don't you? And I'm just like, okay, Aunt. Yes, sir. I got you, Aunt. She's like, God damn it. I can't even mourn my mama right. And my uncle's trying to give advice. She said, shut up. I done had to fight for you my whole life. Your ass, I'm fighting as we kids when people picking on you. And I'm just like, oh shit. So in the moment of sadness, I am bawling, laughing, just like, this is fucking amazing. And finally, I'm trying to interject with her like, Mama, you can't do it. You shut the fuck up too. My mama should have died with me. And I'm just thinking, what the fuck? I'm like, I didn't want to be on death duty. I didn't want to be, and she says, you don't understand. You think your mama died, but that was my mama. When I die, you're going to understand the feeling I have. And I just thought to myself, get the fuck out of here. Because again, she's like a big sister to me in many ways. She's only 16 years old to me. So now it's me, her, and my autistic uncle arguing over who misses my grandmother the most. Oh, it is divine comedy at this point. And
there's a line in Still Magnolias that laughter through tears is like the best emotion.
Yeah, it is.
There's something about that. When you're in deep pain, to be able to laugh, it's like, whoo.
I know my grandmother would have laughed at us and called us all crazy. But when my mother died, I was on a plane from Europe trying to get back here. My boy Sleep, who y'all hear me rap about in my music, Sleep, made it to the hospital, hit the FaceTime before we got on the ground. I was FaceTime with my mother. She was in a coma. I started talking to her, and she started smiling. And you could tell, however deep the coma was, she was hearing me. And she left me. And in the moment she left, she was right. I've never felt that emptiness, and it has never went anywhere, and it is there. And man, I just wish I could. I just wish I could call and say you're right.
She probably knows.
It fucked me up, girl. You know, that's what I tell her. Like you going. It was like, man, I lost my coach. You know, I lost my coach, and her and my grandmother being gone was just the biggest fear I'd ever had. And now they gone. I face life's greatest fear. Now I just don't want to have to bear my children. So, God willing, you know.
How are you managing through that?
Man, you just, you manage. That's all. You just manage. You have to.
Sorry, thank you.
Yeah, you have to.
I'm sorry.
No, it's all good.
Yo, death is tough. Man.
Yeah.
That's the hardest thing.
It's not the death I miss. It's just that I still hear their voices. I still see the advice around me. They told me about, my life. It's just the absence of the physical presence to be able to affirm, to say, hey, I love you. I need you to know I love you. I need to pull up on my mother on a Sunday like I used to and just listen to old music and sit in the back of the truck or in the car and just say, man, you was right about that one. You was right.
It's that one specific thing you want to get right. You want her to know.
I just want to know you
That's
right.
the one thing that sticks.
I got you.
Of all the things in the conversations you've had, that is the
right.
one.
Yeah. Because I took a lot of her advice, you know what I mean? But just that one, I knew I loved my mother deeply. I didn't understand how deeply until I was without. And I knew how everybody who knows. Michael, Denise were in love. Like, I love my mother. Like, I don't give a fuck how much cocaine she sold. That's my girl. I don't give a fuck how big the flower arrangement she made was. You know what I mean? Like that was it. She would have never made it. She's a florist by nature. I mean by trade. I'm just like, she was my girl. I cheered for her. She cheered for me. She was the first person I told I wanted to be an MC. You know what I mean? She was smoking a joint. Fuck it. That's what we gonna do. And that was 84. She had me at the Fresh Fest in 85. She had me and my little cousin, my cousin was the same age, Jimmy, dropped our ass to the Omni and was like, yo, you little niggas take y'all ass in there. Y'all, these your seats. This how you get a ticket to your seats. And when you done, have your ass back on this corner. Like that was the, and I'm just like, you know, LP's my rap partner. Shouts out Run the Jewels, God bless, man. Yeah. L's mom didn't let him go to the Fresh Fest. You know what I'm saying? L's mom was an adult though. You know, my mom was fucking 26. You know what I mean? She was my daughter's age now.
In the street.
Yeah, so it's like, I do, just because I wanted her to know that I listen. I heard you, I feel you. You got it.
I believe she probably does, but that's my belief.
Well, I believe it too. My grandmother came to me after she was gone in a dream. And again, I'm from a devoutly Southern Christian family. And my aunt, whose daughter passed, who I'm going to go see time I get back to Atlanta, my aunt Tot, I said, she came to me. I said, I was trying to communicate, but she said, yeah, they do that. She said they do that, but they only show themselves in times of trouble. And it fucked me up. She said, yeah, I'll never really go nowhere. She said, but she's not going to be there every day. She said, but she there, but she in times of trouble. And in times of trouble, my grandmother's come to me and dream.
Wow.
You know, so I'm a believer. I know that this ain't the only life. I know there's something past this, but man, I just miss them.
But it's funny when you think about what she said to you and how much it resonates even now. You wish she could know that she was right about it. Nobody. I've been blessed. My mom raised me single mother, and she's still with me and young, and I pray I'll have a long time with her. But I don't think no matter how much somebody prepares you, even your own mother saying, you'll see when I'm not here. I don't think but I know friends who've lost parents, and losing a parent, that type of grief, even my mother losing my grandmother who I miss, watching my mother go through that, there's something about losing a parent that there's just no way you could possibly, from the outside, understand that until you have experienced yourself.
It rips your heart out.
It rips your heart out. There's no way, like you said, your grandmother till the day she died was still missing her mom. And I've watched so many friends, especially because the age group we're in now, right? I'm watching friends lose parents. Parents have dementia, or parents are in facilities. You know, we're watching that a lot more at our age group. And it's just something you never could prepare for. Your kids will never, as much as your kids love you, until the day you're not here, they're not going to know what that feels like.
That's how it goes.
And so that's just how it goes. It's just the circle of life. It's the unfortunate thing that we can't know it. But that's why it's important to share the stories.
Absolutely.
And inspire people to think about it before.
If your parents still alive, man, y'all got some beef, man, just, you know, figure that shit out, holler at each other, you know, and because, man, when they go, you know, they gone, and you're going to feel it.
That's so funny you say that, because I have one of my episodes with Kelly, I talked about this story about my father. I thought my father was dead till the time I was 10, and I found that he was alive recently, a couple years ago, living in Illinois. And I haven't really had a need to reconnect, because like you wasn't there.
I always encourage people to.
But you saying the thought of them being gone completely, I don't know how that would affect me.
Dearly, who her biological father is dying, and I'm encouraging her, go. Even, you know, now her dad is not her biological dad, but her biological dad, she never knew him.
Why do you encourage it?
Because everyone deserves to know where they're from or have some questions answered. You know, even if your dad, by circumstance or purpose, was an asshole to just pull himself, someone around him loves you and cares about you that you may not have ever met. And then you might have some questions, or that person may have something to express. And that's just my thought, because I have two dads. I literally have two dads. And my mom made sure good men were in my life and raised me, and I couldn't imagine them leaving and not having the opportunity to impart me with certain wisdom, and me having an opportunity to say to them. I tell both my dads often, like, I love you. I don't know what you think of the job you did, but I'm just here to tell you, you did a great fucking job, man. You know what I'm saying?
What a good son you are.
Yeah, I mean, because I understand what it's like. I'm an adult. I have 4 children of my own. I'm not married to any of their mothers. I get it. You know what I'm saying? So I get the struggle, the strife. You know, my grandfather would tell my dad, hey, Michael has 2 daughters, 2 sisters by his mother and 3 sisters by you. All these girls need to know each other. And my dad, your dads and moms be beefing. He wasn't getting all the girls together. He wasn't. And now that we're adults, all my sisters know one another. They're at my house. We're at
You
games
did that?
and stuff.
You
Absolutely.
pulled them together?
Because that's what we're supposed to do. My children, I encourage to have a relationship outside of me. You know what I mean? 2 of them have the same mother, the other 2 do not. But my 4 children have a relationship outside of me. That's one of my greatest accomplishments. Like I can die happy because I know that my children are united, they're bonded. You know what I'm saying? So
their whole life, right?
Their whole life.
Yeah.
Their whole life. You know what I mean? You don't have no halves, no steps. Those are your brothers and sisters.
Yeah.
And that's what the fuck it is. So, if you and your baby daddy got beef, y'all handle that lame shit after the barbecue.
Yeah.
But we expect you guys to show up with these children. And whoever don't want to show up, that's fine. But these children are expected to be here because they have a family. We have Tuskegee. We have history. I know who my grandparents, great-grandparents, and great-great-grandparents were.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying?
You're lucky because
I do know I'm lucky.
Yeah,
and that's why I don't treat it lightly.
That is a blessing that not everybody has, especially when so many families are blended.
Yeah.
This don't speak to this. I have a cousin that over there I never met, a brother that I never
That's
met,
not
a sister.
good. That's not good.
And families are broken, and it's
and they don't have to be. Everybody don't have to be together.
and you do lose the history when your families are so broken. I mean, sometimes it has to be broken because people have.
Well, no, I'm just saying that
a
there
problem,
could be ambassadors from different
there's
sides.
abuse. There's all types of reasons why families, whatever, fall apart. But you do lose the history when you don't keep the legacy and the generations kind of connected. So that's I don't know, something to learn from.
Yeah.
How are you as a dad?
I think I'm dope.
Yeah, like if
My
you had to
kid-
rate your if you had to rate your dadness.
I felt very guilty for having to travel so much in their lives. Early touring, independent artists, that stuff. But in terms of can my kids come and holler at me about whatever? Absolutely. Do I try my best to steer them in ways to avoid the dumb mistakes I made? Absolutely. And my youngest daughter, Mike, he says, you pretty cool, old man. So
That's good. He calls you old man.
Yeah,
I love
she
that.
calls me old man.
All right, I got some in real life questions for you, my
Gotcha.
dear.
What we got?
I just want to talk about the spirit of your activism.
Yeah.
And we had Tamika Mallory was one of my first guests on the pod.
I love Tamika.
Yeah, she's amazing.
Yeah.
She internalized a lot of the work she's done and has dealt with she's on the front lines of a lot of stuff.
She get beat up for a lot of shit. She get beat up for.
Number one, she gets beat up, and then number two, she sees a lot of trauma.
Yeah,
There's trauma. I know you don't like to.
Well, it's not that I don't like it. It's just I can't.
The word trauma.
I'm still
the way
like
you
my
manage your
like
trauma.
my sister tell me, you're still a man. You still got to get up and go to work.
But she was honest about the work that she's done and being on the front lines and stuff. That a lot of the trauma was starting to affect her.
Yeah.
She wasn't sleeping. She started taking pills. At one point, she had a struggle with that, which a lot of people don't even know. Yeah. And some depression and that work can be
brutal.
Brutal.
People like her, my son, people like Senator Nina Turner, people like the much unheralded, and you need to get her on the show. Teslin Figueroa, just in the trenches working. Teslin was working with her mama died of cancer. Teslin was working with a former old man that she's been working. And thank God we know Tamika. And more of us should know the Teslins because these women and these men are out here working.
I look at, Erica Ford? She just had a severe health crisis because of the work for so long, beating up on herself, beating up on her body. It's just until now, after decades of work, that she's in this healing process.
Eric Garner's daughter.
Yes,
died,
Erica Garner.
Died, an advocate. So I want to tell people, give organizers some grace. I saw the bullshit that Tamika and Teslin endured. I saw the bullshit that Tamika endured because Cadillac gave her a commercial to dare to tell black people that you can think and be bigger. Cadillac should have done that. Black people saved that company twice. Back in 70, 80 years ago, Lincoln and Chrysler were going to put Cadillac out of business. They wouldn't sell to black people. It took a man from Switzerland or somewhere to come over here and get over this island. Hell no, why the fuck aren't we selling cars to black folks? And then wasn't nobody trying to get in Cadillacs before the Escalade dropped. Rappers had moved on to big Benzes and all type of stuff, and the Escalade drops. The next thing you know, it's in Nelly videos and Cass videos, and so Cadillac. I would expect if I was a black customer, I'm buying the Escalade V. I want to see more Tamika Mallory's, not less. And the people that criticized her are foolish because, you look at it like, oh, she sold us out and she got a check. Now she's still on the front lines. She's still getting her ass kicked daily. Why are we mad that she getting that finally they got a vehicle for her that's not gonna run out of gas?
Yeah.
Or it's not gonna, I just want to say, it's very easy to be critical of these people that are organizing when you're behind your keyboards, you're looking at television, but doing the work. That's why I don't let people call me an organizer. I'm a mobilizer. I show up, I know it's gonna get a few extra thousand people there. I know that if I say something, once educated by the organizer, I know it has longevity and it's gonna go out. But the people are organizing every day. That's their job. Every week, they're reporting. Every month, they're trying. Every year, they're pushing. And to me, that deserves some grace. Whether you even agree with them or not, it deserves some grace.
Yes. Yeah, because even if the way social media in the world is set up, everything is so polarizing now.
Someone's profiting from your polarization. So just know that. A lot of times you think you're keeping something in check, but you're being kept in check. Because if you don't, that's why I encourage people to build one-on-one relationships with people who are not like them. Like, you need a one-on-one relationship with someone who's not of your religion, not of your ethnic background, not of even your political beliefs, because once you start to know that person, you're going to start to find commonality. And that commonality is going to make it less easy for you to carry your pride, ego, bigotry, and prejudice into situations with people who are from their community.
Yeah.
You're going to have to come in with an open mind and an open heart.
Especially with what's happening in the world right now.
Yeah.
It is so easy to just pick a side.
It is.
And not even look at the other side.
And
not
what's
even
crazy,
empathize.
the masters don't care about either side. The masters no more cared about Irish immigrants than they did the slaves that looked like me. They cared about them getting together and fraternizing on Sundays, which is why they say, you guys are now going to be white, and you guys are going to remain Negroes. Because if the proletariat ever figures out that the same masters are fucking us all over, you might wake up and kill your masters. And that's what they truly fear.
Woo! This is a good question for you, nice and light. Well, I ask this all the time. I usually start my interviews with this. I forgot to start today. And this would have actually opened up because of what you just experienced. But I ask everybody, how happy are you on a scale of 1 to 10 today?
How happy I am on a scale of 1 to 10 today?
Today.
I'm a slick 5.
Oh, 5.
I'm on average, you know what I mean? I could do better.
Well, you're dealing also with
bad
news.
Yeah, I think I got to start. My grandma, I think I finally got into the era where she says, be selfish. You got to be selfish with yourself. So I think you know how people set their next year's goals? I think I'm going to focus a little more on Michael.
2024?
Yeah, what truly makes me happy and let me do that. Because as a guy, you think about what you want and what makes you happy, and then you start thinking, well, what does my mom want? What does my girl want? What sister, what kids want? But I'm gonna try to be a little more selfish.
Selfish in 2024. That's one of your.
Yeah.
I love that. I love that for you.
Yeah.
You've earned that. You've earned that. So a 5, is that an average number for you?
And 5's average.
Really?
Yeah.
Let's get you to like a 7 or an 8.
Let's see. Well, we'll see how good the weed is I bought earlier.
Okay. What do you pray for most in real life?
What do I pray for? I know God has a purpose for me, and I don't know what it is. I know I'm on a journey, and I don't know where I'm going. So I just pray that God stays with me throughout it.
In real life, when are you your happiest?
When am I at my happiest in real life? Oh man, when I get to see the kids, drive muscle cars, read a cool book or watch an interesting movie, smoke good weed, and hang out with a bunch of naked girls all in the same day. And my wife is usually around too.
That sounds like a hell of a day.
That's a hell of a day, but that's been some days for me, you know?
If this was earlier in the pod, I might dive into your relationship with your wife and how you find peace in that. Because does that ever cause conflict? No.
Conflict's gonna come, you know?
Oh, yeah. No matter
Sometimes
what, right?
With a woman?
Yeah.
If you live with a woman, she's gonna be conflicted by, how did your hair looks nice. Well, you didn't tell me when I first walked in the door. Well, fucking pardon me, bro. I just didn't. I was waiting to, and so you just never know. But
when you add other naked women to the equation, does that not leave more room for conflict to arise?
I don't know. I just know, man. When we're in the blue flame, we both be happy. She don't have to pay for her dances. And I just know, I just know me. I'm still the mischief. My mom caught me reading Playboy at 10, and because I was reading, I remember her talking to my dad. She was like, you got one of your books. He was reading it. And my dad's looking like, like any stupid guy, like, oh, what the fuck am I supposed to do? Like, slick, you got to be proud of your boy. I was like, I know he likes tits. You know what I mean? But she's like, so what you want to do? And she's like, well, he was reading. And I can't take that from him. You know what I mean? So I was like, so Playboy's cool? She's like, yeah, Playboy's cool. Penthouse is not cool. Hustler is not cool, but Playboy, you got the thumbs up. So I've been a Playboy reader since then. So, if you marry me, you got to understand it.
Is that why your relationship works? Because you've been married for a long time.
Yeah, I think it works because, agree or disagree, I'm able to state how I feel. And that's, sometimes you're saving other people, so it's not always, but when I'm able, when I feel like it, that there's an ear there to hear. But we're a typical couple. We done went through all the bullshit, all the ups and the downs. And then we got married high as fucking Vegas at 3 a.m. We beat, you know what I'm saying? So, there's a bit of non-traditionalism that comes with it. Mm-hmm. But I'm very uncomfortable. I'm very comfortable in the tradition of family. I'm just not comfortable in a traditional family. You understand what I'm saying? I'm never going to be that husband. I don't expect you to be that wife in that way. So you find someone that balances out. I'm an early riser. She's not. So I'll get up and get on the plane early. She won't. I'll see you later. And you have to get comfortable with those things. And it's just about balance.
But it clearly works for her. Otherwise, this wouldn't have been.
Yeah.
This marriage wouldn't have worked.
Yeah. I told her I wouldn't do this with anybody else though. It's just one time.
What, marriage?
Yeah, I wouldn't do this with anybody.
This is it.
Yeah,
so
I don't even. I tell young men all the time, I don't do this shit.
Don't do it. Why?
There's no advantage in it for you. Why would you?
Well, why did you?
Because I knew that was an advantage. Like this, like you the one. Like you the one. Like
I can live my best life.
Bitch, I done found the one. You the one. And some days it's like, man, you ain't the one. You're like, nigga, you ain't the one either. You know what I mean? But she is for me, she has been able to accept a lot of the parts of me that the world and other people are not as accepting of. And so for me, she was the one. But would I do this with anybody else? Nah. You know what I mean? It's cool, but I think young men should focus on themselves. More, I told my sons, I don't even really want y'all in no relationships till you in your late 20s or early 30s. I don't want you having no children till you're in your mid 30s or 40s, because I want you to give so much to yourself that by the time you're ready to slow down, you're ready. And then you need to be honest, like with the woman you with. Like you need to say, hey, baby, I like you, this cool, but you never gonna be all I need. Now you got to understand, I might need something else. And you and her gonna have to figure that out. That's our DNA.
Life is short. If you find happiness and you find joy and you find somebody that is okay by your rules and your standards to do it with you, then live your life.
You go on the little pro polygamy pages on Instagram, all them couples be smiling. They be in their matching Christmas pajamas and shit together. Anybody who know me knows Shay Bigger is my age though. We're a package deal.
So looking at your life in real life, like what do you hope people take from your life and your story at the end of the day?
Oh man, ain't nothing impossible. Oh man, a little black buck-toothed boy from the west side of Atlanta, man, has grown to be one of the most influential people on the social level. He's grown to be a business person. He's grown to make his family proud. Has figured out blending this big family of kids who ain't got the same mamas, and it's just nothing's impossible. But you gotta get up every day. And my team says this: they put one foot in front of the other. Wishing for it is not enough. If you want to see the world change, start with the street you live on. If we all do a little bit, no one has to do a lot. And you got to plot, plan, strategize, organize, mobilize at every step of the way. And then just on the personal, what I'm learning is, man, my grandma, take care of yourself first. Be selfish with yourself, baby.
That's what I wish for you in 2024.
Give it to me.
I need you at an 8 when I see you next
I got
time.
you. I got you. I got you. I got you.
Michael, everyone.
Michael.
Yeah.